Best controllers of my generation part 2. I typically don't do part 2s, but nobody's gonna watch an 8-minute video. We're starting in the Xbox 360 generation, and what can you say about this that hasn't already been said? At the time, this was one of the most perfect controllers that ever released. We already know what the winner here is gonna be, but we'll go through the other ones just for ceremony. PS3. It's a PS2 controller without a wire and with triggers. Now, I said PS2 was the best of their generation, and they hadn't changed anything in years. You know, aside from adding the analog sticks. But I'm gonna say this, the PS2 controller was great for its time, it was a great controller. It wasn't good enough to be their controller forever. Then we had the Wii, and I don't feel like I can compare this to the other controllers, it's a totally different thing. There were Pro controllers, they were pretty basic, so I'm gonna say really, really cool, but at best an honorable mention. Come on, y'all knew what the answer was gonna be, it's Xbox 360, this controller was perfect at the time. You're gonna notice I said at the time, because things are gonna change. So we had the next generation, Xbox One. Xbox One was not a great console. It certainly wasn't bad, but they made a lot of mistakes early on that really hurt their sale. But that controller, they improved on perfection. They managed to do it. They said, don't fix it if it ain't broke, but can we make it better? And they did. It's basically the same idea, but with way better ergonomics. Same generation, we had the PS4 controller. Sony finally said, you know what, maybe we do have to make some improvements. And they absolutely did. This controller's phenomenal, and I love this controller. Then there was the Wii U. This thing had some great ideas, being able to play on the controller while someone else uses the TV set. Another thing I'm going to say is I like the way the sticks are placed on the PlayStation controller, and they have a similar idea here, but why is it above all the other buttons? It should be below the other buttons. A friend and I got together a while ago to play Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. I could barely hold this thing. I can't even explain why, but the face buttons being beneath the right analog stick just does not work. It's also really flat and not ergonomic, just not a great control, but a great idea, I'm giving them that. Despite the changes PlayStation made and me loving that controller, the Xbox One controller was still slightly better. It's Xbox again for this generation. Finally, the current gen. Here's the Xbox X Series controller. Notice anything about it? It's the same, because they don't need to change it. Xbox, despite having the worst controller of the first generation they were in, turned it around beautifully. They saw their mistakes, and even within the first generation of consoles they made better controllers. I'm a PlayStation guy. I've been a PlayStation guy for every generation except for the Xbox 360 generation. But big props to Xbox. You guys know what you're doing with controllers. But this generation, just by a little bit, PlayStation took it. Like I said, I like this stick placement. The rounded edges are very comfortable for me. This controller doesn't hurt my carpal tunnel. And adaptive triggers, when I first heard about them, I was like, okay, cool, I guess. But you have to actually feel them. You have to actually experience them to see why it's so cool. There was also the Switch, and do I really even need to say anything? This controller was awful. Now, the Pro controller was okay, but again, we're only talking about controllers that shipped with the console. And the Joy-Cons not only hurt my carpal tunnel, but the stick drift, yeah, big problem. People talk about it on PlayStation and Xbox, but I never experienced it with a PlayStation or Xbox controller. Not saying it's not a thing, it's just something I've never experienced. I've had 2 of these experience drift. So yeah, PlayStation took it back for me. This generation, PS5, DualSense. Let me know your opinions down in the comments. Vay Victus, save awesome. Controllers have come a long way.